Hello, from October 19th to October 21st, the Brazil-Canada Chamber of Commerce is hosting the 15th edition of our Traditional Doing Business in Brazil event, a must-attend discussion for all Canadian SMEs looking into expanding into the Brazilian market. I'm Carolina Albernaz, CEO of the Brazil-Canada Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here today with Arnon Melo, President at MELLOHAWK Logistics, to talk about Brazil-Canada trade, to give us an update on how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected international supply chain and how MELLOHAWK Logistics can support Canadian SMEs looking into exporting to Brazil. So Arnon, welcome. Thank you for being here today with us.
Thank you, Carolina. So nice to be here again. Hello, everyone, and so great to be with you again.
So why don't we start by having you introducing yourself and MELLOHAWK Logistics?
I'm the president for MELLOHAWK Logistics, a company that I formed with Peter Hawkins, my partner, 19 years ago. We are an international logistics provider. And what is that? Is it a company that moves cargo around the world? And of course, I am Brazilian, so Brazil is a niche market for us. We help many Canadian companies penetrate in Brazil and vice versa. So yeah, as Peter says, we are a travel agent for cargo.
Amazing. I love that analogy. So thanks for the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccinations. The global economy is slowly starting to emerge from the pandemic, right? So can we expect any improvements on supply chain disruption anytime soon?
Well, I don't think anytime soon, unfortunately. I think let's talk about air and ocean very quickly. So for air freight, of course, as flights resume worldwide, right, the borders are open and more flights, passengers are flying. So you see a decrease in rates for air freight eventually, maybe the beginning of next year, because more flights, more cargo. Anyway, so prices should drop. On the ocean side, this is the big question and a total disaster right now worldwide. Prices continue to increase. Space is limited. And I think there's a lot of politics in terms of space, because we know that as crew in ships, they get COVID, the ship cannot dock in a certain country. So your container coming from China to Canada or going to Brazil might not be able to be offloaded in a time fashion that normally is given as a schedule. So as we see the pandemic and people with no COVID and ships, things are going to get better. But I don't predict until at least May, June next year, schedules being back to normal.
Wow. So what are the main tips you can share with our audience to mitigate those supply chain risks that the pandemic has created?
I think planning more than ever and talking to your logistics provider, because, I hear out there clients telling me, oh, Arno, I get this price on this lane. And I'm like, okay, this is insane, because the prices, for example, from China are between $20,000 and $27,000 for a freight container, right, to Canada. And to Brazil is not different. And even Brazil to Canada, the prices have quadrupled in this period. So if people are promising you a lower freight value, be careful, because that container might not make it on the ship. That's what the steamship lines are saying. They have no space. So they give you, great, here's a good price. You load the container goes to the port, and it doesn't get loaded into a ship. So planning more than ever, the arrival or shipping of your product is crucial right now. So before, as you know, Carolina, time could change, right, on the transit.
Yeah.
Now you got to think like 3 times, like, okay, if this is late, which we've seen 30, 40, 50, 60 days delays in some containers from some countries. So you got to plan really ahead.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Like, I've never seen rates like that. And of course, like, the lower freight rates stay behind, right? They fill the ships with the cargo that pays more, for sure.
Of course. And steamship lines are telling you, this is a must load rate. If you want it, this is what you're going to get. They're being upfront about it, right? So you pay what you need. So basically right now, which is insane.
Wow, that's crazy. And we can definitely see these changes also when in the final prices of the products. And so there's going to be an increase of prices and lack of supply. And I think that we can see the shelves a little bit emptier right now as well, right? So
it's kind of scary. You're shipping a product that's worth $5,000 in a container, in a 40-foot container, and you're paying $25,000 for the freight alone. And for Brazil, unfortunately, as you know, when you do an export to Brazil, taxes in Brazil are calculated on the freight and insurance and the product value. So can you imagine products arriving in Brazil with a freight of 15, 20,000? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
That's crazy. So can you share with us then, what are the 5 main recommendations? You're mentioning exporting to Brazil and the taxation. So what would be your 3 to 5 main recommendations for any Canadian SMEs that are looking into exporting their products to Brazil right now? What is the secret for success?
I think always and more than ever is to get a good partner in Brazil that can represent you, that can sell your product in the market. And Brazilians like to pick up the phone and make a complaint or call someone locally, right? And know more about your product. So don't try to do things alone. It's impossible. Brazil is a country of partnerships. So use the chamber, use the Canadian consulate in Brazil to get those partners, right? To represent you locally. I think that's the main point. Also, remember, Brazilians ask you to, oh, please calculate the value of the duties and taxes on this product coming to Brazil for me. Like Brazilian companies want, things done for them, the whole thing. Well, it's impossible. Like you as a Canadian company exporting to Brazil, you will never be able to find out actually the final duties and taxes on a particular product. This responsibility lies on the Brazilian importer alone. You can calculate freight, you can organize logistics, we can help you, but up to the port and the airport in Brazil. From that point on, it has to be the Brazilian company's responsibility. And there's many things that I can suggest, but communication is crucial. Never, ever ship anything to Brazil via courier, via air, via ship, without everyone in the chain being informed and all your documents approved. One word can cost your product to be confiscated, storage. Brazil is very serious in terms of supply chain and customs. So you gotta work with people that understand supply chain and understand your product.
So rely on your partners and your service providers and trust them and find a good one to help you through the process. Like
and
MELLOHAWK.
Communication. Yeah, absolutely. We're here. But communication always. And we've been in this market for a very long time. We know inside out what you're going to need. And Incoterms, of course, crucial in any contract and supply chain movement. But communication, you need to communicate. You need to ask the questions. You need to make the phone call. Like you can't just rely on an email and say, oh no, everything is good, I'm going to ship. No, this doesn't work in Brazil.
Wow. So thank you very, very much for your time and for the support. MELLOHAWK Logistics is one of our platinum sponsors for the 15th Doing Business in Brazil event. And stay tuned, as Arnon and Peter will be speaking at our 3rd session coming this Thursday, October 21st, discussing on how to enter the Brazilian market, practical steps for Canadian companies, where we will be giving more tips on importing into Brazil, what you need to know. You cannot miss it. So for any Canadian companies looking into enter the Brazilian market, this is a must-attend event. We look forward to see you there. So thank you very much, Arnon, for being here, and we look forward to see your presentation on Thursday. For more information and registration, please go to www.braskingchamber.org.
Thank you, Carolina. Thank you, everyone, and see you this week.
Thank you so much.